Hello everyone, Poor Cynic here with Tyrant Reviews, and this is Procreate by Savage Interactive. Procreate is obviously not a game, rather it's an art application that allows the user to draw on their tablet. A few notes before I begin in earnest. First off, this is by no means a detailed overview of everything that Procreate is capable of. For example, I can't go over how the program interacts with smart styluses like the 53 pencil or the Jot Touch 4. I've always used a simpler, cheaper capacitive stylus. It means I miss out on things like tilt and palm detection. One day that might change, but for now just know that not everything is going to be covered in this video. Similarly, I can't talk about how this works on the iPad Pro. There's been a huge push for Procreate on the iPad Pro, up to and including full compatibility with the Apple Pencil. I'm using an iPad Air 2. So, if you have an iPad Pro, you might want to look for a different review. So, I'm sure there are plenty of in-depth Procreate reviews out there aimed at the more professional crowd. I can't offer that here. This is pretty much meant for quote-unquote casual users. All that being said, this is an amazing app, and if you have any interest in art, you should get it. I'm going to say that again at the end, because it needs to be said. I love this app so much. This is just the basic screen. Essentially outside screen, you can create your drawings here, you can group them up. Let's just create a new drawing here. You can see all the different preset sizes they have. It tells you the amount of layers they're going to have as well. You can set your canvas width and height, and it'll tell you the maximum amount of layers and whatnot. Or you can import an image from essentially your device or from the clipboard. We're just going to go with the normal retina. That's going to fill up the screen here. You can resize and rotate by pinching and dragging your fingers on the screen. I think that'll do it. It's slightly off kilter, yeah, but it means I can see everything, because if it's full size, it's going to be blocked by the little tabs on the side and top. So let's go over some of the options. Gallery, that's going to take you back to the gallery, the main screen. The wrench, this allows you to do a bunch of stuff. You can import an image. You can take a photo, you can paste from the clipboard under Insert. You can do different things with the canvas, including look at the metadata. You can also record essentially a video of what you're drawing without having to use like a capture software like I'm using right now, which is cool. I've never used it, but I like that concept because it means more people can make artistic videos, and I'm always down with that. And there's Share. Essentially, it's just exporting. There's Devices. These, as I mentioned before, these are some of the different smart styluses that you can get to interact with this. I don't have any of these. I would eventually like to get one, but for now, I'm just using a simple plastic metal mesh tip stylus. And if you hear any metal clinking, that's the stylus. It's because it's got a little, almost like a keychain on it that it can hook into your tablet. Then, under Preferences, it's just different ways to mess with it, like light interface. If you're in a dark room or a light room, you can turn that on or off. You could fit canvas inside the interface, which means it won't collide with these things on the top unless you deliberately slide it to be so. Brush cursor, right-hand interface, classic color picker, etc., etc. And then editing the different pressure stuff. And then you can look at help, you can go to community, you can go to customer support, and all that sort of stuff. Then the next is sort of magic wand. This is how you use adjustments. Because I work in video, the term I want to use is post-production. I don't know if that applies to art, but it's basically things, it's layer opacity, it's different blurs, sharpening, noise, adjusting the hue, etc., etc. You can do that in the program. I like to do that in almost like Photoshop-style programs. As one of the downsides of Procreate, it doesn't really have a strong system for this. Also, you can't add text. So, like, I use Procreate to make all the drawn thumbnails for my channel. All the stuff I do for Tyrant Reviews or Endless Runner Rampage is done in Pixelmator, which is a Photoshop-esque program. But like for the Poor Cynic Plays, all the drawn thumbnails I do in here. And what I'll do is I'll take them into Pixelmator when I'm done to actually put in text and maybe adjust the general lighting or what have you. And then we have this that just allows you to select part of the canvas and adjust it, move it around. The arrow is basically the same thing, but it's for the whole layer. Obviously, I don't have anything on there at the moment. Then we have the brushes, and there's a lot of these to choose from, and they can all be edited as well. So you have sketching, inking, painting, artistic, which is just different types of painting. In the new update, there was sort of an odd change But yeah, it's nice to have more options. There's airbrushing, there's different textures, there's abstract, which is stuff I have never used, charcoals, elements, spray paints, touch-ups, retro, which I have never ever used, luminance, which is different light effects, industrial, organic, water, and you can make your own brush sets based on importing different things. And you can delete them just by holding down, like so. But if you want to edit one of the brushes, you just tap on it again and you can adjust the spacing on the stroke plot. You can add in jitter, the stroke taper, and all sorts of good stuff like that. You can adjust the stroke, you can adjust the shape, which you can't really see with this particular brush, but randomized and azimuth and whatnot. You can adjust the grain. You can adjust the... go back to grain. Yeah, this is not the best one to choose. Oh, hang on. Go back into technical pen. We're going to reset that because I don't want to change it all that much. Let's go into something that's going to be more obvious. Let's try acrylic. So if we're in grain, yeah, now you can see there's going to be different changes. You adjust the movement, sort of more cloudy. And then you adjust the scale. It's going to adjust how that looks. And the different zoom and the rotation. It looks very pretty. And go in dynamics. Get different fall off, which is just sort of looks like fading, so I don't get that. You can change whether you want it to be glazed or not, which essentially just makes it less brushy. I don't understand the deep technical aspects of this, as you might have guessed. For some of these, I'm just guessing. I don't adjust the brushes all that much, and certainly not to any great extent. You can adjust the opacity, you can adjust the size for your drawing, the softness, depending on if you tilt, if you have a smart pencil, and then adjust general. And then here's the source. You can look at the shape and you can look at the grain. We're going to reset everything, and then we're going to exit out. Next we have the smudge tool, which obviously I can't show off too much because I don't have anything on the screen yet. But this you can also change depending on the type of brush you want. Eraser tool, it's pretty much the same thing, so if you want to erase in the shape of a pen or a brush, you can do that. And then there's the layers. You can add more of them. You can select everything that's on it. You can copy the layer. You can duplicate the layer. You can delete it. You can also alpha lock it. We're going to un-alpha lock it. And if you tap it, once we put something on there, there'll be more options. And let's do that now. I'm going to probably should have doodled something to start off with, because then some of the things I would have talked about would have made more sense. Yeah, I'm not doodling anything in particular, and this is certainly not how I make my drawings, but get a sort of general idea what's going on here. Maybe I should try to make something, because so far all I've made is a blob. And here's the... oops. Along the side, it's the undo and the redo. See, I just tap that, and I think it can save something up to 250 undos and redos. You can adjust the brush size here, and you adjust opacity there. So let's draw something. So let's draw something with pencil. Or a digital representation of a pencil, anyway. And immediately I'm going to undo that, because that's not what I wanted to do. I'm freezing up now. This will probably be done in fast motion because I have no idea what I'm doing here. And it certainly does not look all that good. If I were actually doing something that I was going to use on the channel, I would take my time and I would use multiple layers. But in this case, I'm just mucking around for the purpose of the video. And in this case, we have someone who could be me, could be the version of me that I draw for the channel, but is not quite that. Oh, those are big eyes. Those are some anime-esque eyes right there. And like some longer hair. And that's the neck, although it doesn't look like it all that much because this is all in black and white. You have an androgynous figure right here. Now, we can go over some things here. If I tap this now, I can rename the layer, I can clear the layer, I can fill the layer, and I can select its contents. One nice thing here is if I had, I'm actually going to go to the second layer to do this, if I were to fill this in with color. Like, let's use a soft pastel. And just sort of make and we're going to move the layer, because that's another thing you can do, because I just realized, I'm drawing on top of my pencil strokes. But yeah, I can do that. We get sort of this skin color. And this is a person who spends a lot of time at the beach. Or at least gets a lot of sun. I don't. I would be much paler than this. And now if we go to select contents, we have only selected the stuff we have colored, which means if we go to a different layer, and we want to make some changes, like we want to add shading, it means it will not go outside that area, which is sort of a nice way to go about that. This is not how you do art, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, like that. It means, like, if I'm trying to draw outside this area, outside the colored area, in the parts that's currently the moving gray and white lines, nothing's happening. I turn that off, there you go. Yeah, that's like that. And I'm gonna make another layer and just do, this person's gonna have really bright pink hair. And we're gonna adjust the brush size down. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's the stuff. This is not how you art, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you mess around for a video. Adjust it, and we can make a mess is what we can make. And so yeah, that is let's see. Oh, I forgot the eyebrows. Give him pink eyebrows, because why not? So yeah, and then show off some of the things we can do over here, which I couldn't do before because I didn't have anything on screen. This I can use to draw an outline. I can select it and then I can move it. So if something wasn't particularly on site, I could just move it around. If I select the layer, I can swipe with 3 fingers, and that'll give me the option to cut the layer, copy the layer, or paste the layer. I can select the whole layer and move it around. Pretty good. And let's go into the smudge and we'll go down. If I want to combine layers, I can either actually push them together, which is kind of finicky, or I can just say merge down. There we go. And now I can use the smudge tool to get like that, which is definitely not, again, not how you art. Do not take this as instruction. Do not take this as instruction. If I wanted serious drawing, I would take my time. So let's say you're happy with this drawing and you want to export it. In that case, you're going to go out to the gallery. You can rename it if you like by tapping there. Drawing. That is cool. And doesn't have a space. I'm so good at this. Drawing that is cool. Now you can go into share or duplicate it if you want to double. Like you want to you want a drawing to save and you want a drawing to work on, you can duplicate it. And you go into share, you choose the format, choose a Procreate format, you can choose Photoshop, JPEG, or PNG. And let's say PNG. And then you can put it into one of these options. You can send in a message or mail, you can save the image or print the image or save to Dropbox or iTunes or what have you. That's how that works. And if you want to put it in one of these groups, you just tap it and drag it, and there you go. There are some negatives about this, I will say. There's no option to create a perfect shape. Like you can't create circles, you can't create boxes. You can create straight lines if you paint and then hold it. You can create a perfectly straight line, and you can sort of use that to make things like squares and whatnot. It's kind of a finicky process. I wish they would have that option, but they don't. There's no mirror mode, no symmetry mode. It's basically where you can turn it on, and anything you can draw on one side of the screen would be mirrored. So like that would appear as a mirror image over there. And as I mentioned before, there's not a lot in terms of post-editing, adding text and all that sort of stuff. You can sort of do some things, but it's easier to just put those in a different program. But other than that, Procreate is the art app for iPad. As I said, it's by no means perfect, especially if you're into more strict design than drawing and painting, but what it offers is pretty damn amazing. It currently costs $5.99, and in my opinion, it's worth every penny. If you have any interest in using your tablet for art, get Procreate and get it now. I've been Poor Cynic, and I will see you all next time. Ta-ta, and farewell.